my name is Allie and welcome to my channel. And as you can see, I don't have any makeup on, so I am going to be doing this discussion video while I put some makeup on because I have like another 2 videos to film anyway. So I figured might as well kill 2 birds with 1 stone with this video. So if you can see in my background, I do have some of my makeup over here, and we're just gonna get started because it's gonna take a little while. Okay, so the reason I really wanted to make this video is because it's just something that's been like rumbling around in my brain a little bit, and it does that every once in a while, where I just get into a place where I'm like, where I hear certain things about books that I love, you know, and I think everyone gets to that place where it's like, they have books that they are in love with, but other people aren't so in love with them, and it kind of starts getting to you, you know, when you start to hear so much negativity about a book that you really love or a series that you really love. And sometimes I can get that little nagging voice in my head that is like, this person hates your favorite book or your favorite series, so they must hate you and they must think you're so dumb, or they must think that you don't have any good taste or whatever. And that's not the case at all, because I know that when I don't like a book that someone else really likes, I'm not thinking to myself like, oh, that person is so stupid for liking that book. Oh my gosh, they're just so dumb and they have no taste, and wow, like I can't believe they like this book. Like I'm never thinking that, like ever. But I get it, because like that's kind of what you start to think, is that like people are judging you for the books that you like or the books that you don't like or whatever. And I'm totally guilty of feeling that way. But I think it's important to remember, and I have to remind myself of this every once in a while, that no one is obligated to like your favorite books. No one is obligated to talk about them nicely or to like constantly give your favorite books praise. That's not something that people have to do. And I think that's just something that we all have to come to terms with, that not everyone's going to love your favorite book. That's just a part of being on BookTube. That's just a part of being within the book community on any platform. Also, if you're wondering what makeup I'm using the Fit Me foundation by Maybelline, and this is in the color 320 Natural Tan. So that's my color right now. I go through like 3 different colors throughout the year, so for the most part I'm usually 320. And personally, I really hate the mentality of like, oh, people can't talk shit about my favorite books because that hurts my feelings. Because you can curate your space on any social media platform. If you don't like the stuff that people are posting, you have every right to unfollow them, to block them, to mute them, do whatever you need to do to curate your space, to make your space somewhere where you feel comfortable, where you are surrounded by people who have the same opinions as you do. And I think that that's just like the best thing for you to do, is if someone that you're following is posting a lot of negativity about your favorite book, unfollow them, mute them, block them, do something where you can create a space where you feel like it's the most positive, where you feel the most productive, where you feel that your mental health is in order. And I think that that's really important. And as much as they shouldn't feel obligated to enjoy your favorite series, you shouldn't feel obligated to follow people who don't like your favorite series, who talk shit about your favorite series. I think that that's totally fine and totally appropriate. Also, this is the Instant Age Rewind Eraser for dark circles, and I use it just as my concealer. It's amazing. I've been using this forever. One of my favorite concealers. Like personally, I think it's really inappropriate to kind of be like, people shouldn't talk shit about this book because this, that, or the other thing, or it's not cool to be negative about this series or this book or whatever, because honestly, it's not that big of a deal. I like I get it, because sometimes I get sad when people are mean about my favorite books, like, or like talk shit about them, and I get it. Sometimes I feel the need to like defend my favorite books or defend my favorite series or defend that author, but really, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna convince someone to enjoy your favorite book? Are you gonna convince them that they shouldn't like speak their mind or speak their opinions just because it makes you uncomfortable. Like, it's their space too. They have the right to curate their space just as much as you do. If that's what they want to talk about on their platform, on their account, then I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, there really isn't much that you can do at all. And I just think it's a waste of your time and a waste of everyone else's time to kind of be like worried about the things that people post on the internet. Like, I get it. If it's like them attacking you personally or adding you on Twitter or something like that, and they're being nasty about your favorite book, like, that's when you should be like, hey, this isn't cool, I really don't like this, can you stop, that's not appropriate. But if they're doing it on their account, you know, for their followers, for themselves or whatever, you have every right to block them, to mute them, to unfollow them, like I've said, because it's their account. Like, they don't owe you something like that. Like, you know, if you're uncomfortable, you have to be the one to kind of disengage from that situation. You can't expect someone else to curate their own profile to you. Like, if it's something as like ridiculous as disliking your favorite author or disliking your favorite series or book or whatever, that's no, we're not doing that. I mean, if it's something that's problematic, if they're being racist or sexist or homophobic or something like that, then yeah, I get it. Like, speak up, that's not cool. Or if it's something like, I hate this book, I'm gonna make jokes about this book, I hate this book sucks, whatever, like, ho ha ha, look at this funny thing that this book has, and I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like some sort of like weird example, but like, what are you gonna do? It's not like that big of a deal, because they're honestly, but I also think it's really important to recognize the kind of shitty parts about your favorite stuff. Like, you don't have to talk about it, but you can't just deny it. You can't just be like, oh, this isn't true, because come on, I mean, really? I totally just realized I'm not telling you guys what I'm using. This is Natural Bronzer by Rimmel, and then this is the Wet n Wild brow pencil thing. So yeah, I'm gonna do my brows off camera. Okay, eyebrows done, eyelashes curled. We can move on. So basically, like, I have a few examples of like books that I absolutely love and people like legitimately hate. And I Darken. A lot of people hate that book, and for kind of really good reason, because a lot of people say that it's historically inaccurate, and I totally understand that. There is a lot of media that is really, really good, really, really beloved, that is extremely historically inaccurate, and I still love it. I mean, I think that there is a time and place for historical inaccuracies. I think that there's a time and place for historical accuracy. I still think it's a little problematic in And I Darken because of just like some of the things that people bring up, and I totally understand. However, I still love it. I'm not going to tell those people that they need to shut up about their opinions, about the historical inaccuracy, or about how much they hate the book. Even if it has nothing to do with the historical inaccuracy and they still hate the book, I'm not going to go up to them and tell them, or I'm not even going to subtweet them and tell them to like shut up or to not talk about it or to stop hating on it or whatever, because it doesn't really affect me. Even though it's my favorite book, like, it's not that big of a deal if some rando on the internet hates my favorite book. Who cares? Like, it's not that big of a deal. I don't know, maybe that's just me. I don't find that to be a huge deal. I think sometimes where I do get the most annoyed is when people like misinterpret my favorite books, like when there's like a legitimate misinterpretation to where they've, you know, interpreted something about the book in a way that doesn't really line up with the facts of the book. I think that's where I get the most annoyed. But at the same time, I'm not gonna like attack people for like misinterpreting something or for missaying something or whatever. That's just not me. That's not my personality. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but that's just me again. Anyway, I probably should be doing my makeup. I don't know. I have this Makeup Revolution palette that I really love. It is the Reloaded Iconic Fever, and I love it so much. It has like the prettiest freaking colors. I feel like I'm back in my makeup guru days, but look at that, so gorgeous. So because I'm not really doing anything, I'm just gonna, you know, put this stuff on my frickin' eyelids and call it a day, because, you know, normally I would put some sort of like primer on my lids, but we're not going anywhere. We don't need that, so we're just gonna do a little base color. And that's good. I think you can tell why I'm not a beauty guru. This literally sucks. I hate doing this. But anyway, so yeah, I just don't think, that it's appropriate to ask people to be quiet about their opinions, even if they're negative opinions, because people can talk about whatever they want. They are entitled to their opinion, even if it's wrong, even if it's negative. That's their opinion. Like, it's not racism or homophobia or sexism. If it's not any of those things, let them have the opinion. It's really not that big of a deal. And if it is a huge deal to you, you really need to curate a space that is going to be positive for you. And that doesn't mean that you get to control how other people conduct themselves on the internet, but that does mean that you have to take control of that. You have to, like I said, block, mute, unfollow, do something, like, especially if it's someone that a lot of your mutuals follow, muting or blocking is going to be really, really helpful. And I recommend it highly. I have muted so many people that my mutuals follow that I don't particularly enjoy. So muting people is not a bad thing. I totally am an endorser of muting people. I think it's really important to do that. I think it's important to really curate your space. I think that if you're gonna be on social media, you have to do that. There's no way around it, you know? So if you don't like someone's negativity, you have to take that into your own hands. You can't go around and police people and police the way that they express their opinions, because that's not really productive in any sort of way. That's, you know, you're stifling a conversation. And if you don't want to be part of that conversation, you do not have to be part of it. You have every right to curate your space, to unfollow whoever you want, to soft block. And if you don't know what soft blocking is, that's where if you're a mutual of someone or if someone's following you, you can block them and then unblock them, and then that cuts all ties. So that's what a soft block is, if you need to know. So yeah, I mean, like, I just don't think that it's super productive to control the way that people conduct themselves on the internet when they're not being harmful in any sort of like bigoted way. I think it's totally valid to be hurt by people's opinions, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't be hurt, because I've definitely been hurt by other people's opinions, but I don't think that you should necessarily attack them for their opinions or like subtweet them and say things like, oh, people just want to hate on this book and they think it's edgy or cool or whatever. I think that's super unproductive, and I really don't think that that's, you know, a good way to go about dealing with the hurt that you feel, because I get it, because I get hurt every single time someone says something negative about my favorite book. But like just recently I was watching a video and someone was talking really negatively about a book that I have absolutely loved. I thought it was amazing. I had no real issues with it. And they were really like railing into this book. And guess what I did? Guess what I did? I clicked out of the video and I moved on to something else. I didn't subtweet them. I didn't comment on their video. I didn't whine about, oh, people are so mean about my favorite book. I just moved on. You know, I recognized those sad feelings. I recognized the fact that everyone is entitled to their own opinion, and then I moved on. And I thought that that was a really good way of handling that sort of pain and that sort of sad feelings. And I think just moving on and not worrying about it and, you know, removing myself from that situation is so much better and so much healthier than kind of just stewing in those emotions and perpetuating those emotions and kind of like isolating people and all that kind of stuff. I think that that's super, like, no, I don't think we should be doing that. I mean, if we're gonna have conversations, let's have conversations. But if you don't want to have those conversations, it's just better to remove yourself from the situation. Okay, I'm also gonna do my mascara off camera. I just went on a little like rant there. I'm sorry about that. Okay, my mascara is all done and I don't feel like getting up and getting any sort of lipstick or something, so there you go. That's the makeup look today. Anyway, I feel like that's all I have to say about this topic. I think that's about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and enjoyed this kind of style of video. I don't think I'm ever going to do this again. It was just not my cup of tea, but I did really like this kind of like conversation. And yeah, that's about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also go ahead and comment down below just whatever, anything that you want to add to this conversation, anything that you're feeling. Totally open to any sort of conversation. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!